Trying to get hold on 1 second. There we go. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Welcome to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Got a great broadcast lineup for you tonight. Before we get started, we got a lot of people that's actually coming in, but right now we got Mr. Don Carlos Churo. Hope I said it right. Boy, I hope I said it right.
Close
If not,
enough. Close enough.
you're gonna get on me, brother. You're gonna get on.
Okay.
I'm multitasking over here doing two or three things, but okay, there we go. Got that right there ready. Okay. Now, how's your evening been, sir?
Uh, Been a good evening. Yeah,
Good, good deal,
been a
good deal.
good.
Now we got what we call four square conversation, and we're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
go ahead on you and I. We're gonna kick this thing off, man, because I want to hear what you're gonna say about this first square. The first square question is this right here: where is the biggest divide in us? Is it race, finance, or communication?
That's a good question. Race, finance, or communication?
Where is the biggest
Yes.
divide between us?
hmm Well, I have to believe that it's communication. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, one could argue that okay, well, you don't understand each other. Understand each other, does that really change anything? You
Mm-hmm.
know, even if you understand each other. But I think communication is because um, each group of people, for the most part, is talking to each other and talking at the people who are opposite them.
Mm-hmm.
We talk to each other about how we really feel, what our real issues are, but we talk at the other people who are in opposition to us. And
Mm-hmm.
because we a lot of times don't feel that we can talk, I think, on both sides. And I think both sides are kind of steeped in their own pre disposed ideas and thoughts, and so we are unable to really get past those thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just listening to some broadcast this afternoon, and it's interesting. One, I think it's some sort of theory that enough truth can flood out error.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking just to ourselves about what we understand our little truth to be,
Mm-hmm.
and it's totally dismissive of what other people's truths are, then we don't really get at each other. We just keep saying the same thing, and it's just like that commercial where they went to the car dealership and the man was showing the car to the people, and the kid was hearing why,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really what's happening a lot of times. So we really communication is going to be essential, and I think that's one of the issues that we have right now is trying to the administration is trying to block real communication
Absolutely.
and have communication only go one way. And I think that's really, really, really terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
it's really terrible, and it's affecting our lands. It's affecting our laws even right now. They're trying to affect our laws by that. It's affecting freedom of speech in
Wow.
certain
Wow.
places. You know, it really is.
That's
Uh,
good.
in other words, if you don't talk my talk, we'll stop you from talking at all
Mm-hmm.
altogether. And I
Okay.
think that's part of the issue we got going right there.
Okay.
So
Now we got a couple of people calling in and a couple of people we got a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
let's see.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I'm tuning in on your broadcast.
Hey. Now who is this? Who is this I have the pleasure of talking to? Who is this young lady? I hear a young lady. Now who is this I'm
You're
talking to?
Grace Berry Canton, sister to Mr. Sherrod.
Absolutely. Hey young lady, how you doing tonight?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing well, doing well. I'm trying to get Rashid to center himself on the screen. He ain't centered, but we can work with him a little bit. We're trying to get him to center himself. But let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you the first question here. I'm gonna ask you the first question, and it is this: where is the biggest divide in us? Is it race, finance, or communication? What do you say to that?
I think it's race rather than finance or communication. But I think it has it. It's not just race. It has, and I guess you could say, a canal of communication. You understand what I'm saying? It's race because of the way the country was set up from way back, and feelings were passed down from one generation to the other, and there is a feeling of mistrust, despite the fact that people on both sides who are trying to mend this thing, and it's going to take a long time. There's nowhere near what needs to be done in order to solve this issue. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take generations. Wow. And I think the young people who have begun to go to school and especially participate in athletics and other activities, they are making friends, they are bonding, and they are going to make the difference. I think it's too late for older people. They can advise and everything, but they cannot do what young people can do and are doing. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Now let me ask Ms. Grace, let me ask you this question right here, because I love what you're saying and I am in agreement with you. But I like to deal with both sides of the coin, and in dealing with both sides of the coin, I saw.
Yes, you do. Yes, sir.
I saw that there was a huge rally, and they had a Ku Klux Klan rally, and I was amazed at the amount of young people I saw at that rally, because I had the same mindset that you have, that the younger people are going to make the change, and the younger people are going to pull us together so that we can move in a more positive direction. But when I saw the amount of young people that was there, teenagers, it threw me a little bit, because I had the mindset like you. So what do you say to that?
Well, you're always going to have that on both sides. That's what happened in that Charlotte situation a few months ago. But by the same token, I believe the overwhelming side will be on the positive. You understand what I'm saying? That good always outweighs evil. That they always win. Good always wins. Okay. So I think that's exactly what is going to happen, but it's going to take a long time. And I believe it's going to take working on both sides all of that time, continuously. Okay. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Like a river that's flowing, and water flowing over the banks of these high cliffs and everything. It has to be continuous.
Okay.
So that as we live and grow and share and trust, then this wins people over. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter that you've got a new crop coming up. The issue is good always outweighs evil.
Good deal.
It does.
Let me go.
It doesn't matter how long it's going to take.
Okay, I'm with you. Let me go to She. Good evening, sir. How you doing tonight?
Great. How about yourself? Good evening.
Hey, good evening, sir. Good evening. I'm asking the question, man, and we got a phone call. Hold on, we're coming to you next. But where is the biggest divide in us? Is it race, finance, or communication?
Well, I was listening. If I'm choosing between those three, I think the biggest would be race, because I think race is the mother or the covering of the other two. I think though they fall up under the umbrella of race. Because of race, we have an issue with communication. Because of race and systemic racism, there's a major divide with finances. Race is the driving force behind the poverty among the African American community. It's driven by race.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest divide is Christ. I think that's the biggest divide in society, particularly in America, even among Christians.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Because we have people who profess Christianity that really don't know him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the biggest issue. He is still that stumbling block that the builders rejected.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're contending with more than any other thing. Of course, people don't talk about that. That's not the narrative. Is taboo and unpopular to say. But among Christian circles, it's the elephant in the room. How do you feel about Christ? How are you conducting your life? There's a lot of compromise in the body of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of worldly mindsets, and Christ has taken the back seat in a whole lot of instances throughout society. And I think that's the main reason why society is so corrupted and jacked up right now. He is that divide. But if I were choosing between those three that you mentioned, I would have to say race takes precedence over the other two.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's go to the phone line. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, what's your
name? Hey, Raheem, Cornelius coming in, man.
Cornelius, what's going on, sir? How you doing tonight?
Hanging in there, man. Just on lunch. Get a chance to call in.
Good deal, good deal. Man, we asking a question, and let me say this. We've got quite a few people that's tuning in. We would love to have you as a part of the conversation. We're live right now. Watch this, raise my hand. See, we live. Give us a call, 678-381-1973. Sometimes people say they'd be listening in. They don't know whether we live or not. So, yes, we are live right now. 678-381-1973. Give us a call. We got what we call Four Square Conversation, and we love to have your input. You're more than welcome to call in. Cornelius, where is the biggest divide in us? Is it race, finance, or communication?
I kind of concur with what she was saying first, but if I, like I said, I'm the same way. If I'm forced to pick one, as far as on the natural side of it, I will say communication for me. Because in communication, we have a tendency where it's like you have made up your own mind about a situation. So you don't want, you're not choosing to communicate and get an understanding about the race, even about finances, all these different things. You're not choosing to the word I'm looking for is reason together. And reasoning is communication.
Okay.
So no one is lacking, and people are lacking that area. Now, why is that? Now it goes to the spiritual. The bigger backdrop is when she was talking about Christ. See, because without Christ, you're not looking to have an understanding. See, Christ gives us understanding and a deeper insight and give us the wisdom and knowledge to want to communicate, to want to seek finances in a positive way. And to build relationships in race and different race and creeds. You know what I'm saying? So all those different things are issues of that part. And even when in a relationship, in marriage, one of the biggest things in marriage, so you can have a white person and a black person marry each other, but if they don't have communication in that relationship, it's doomed for failure. So that's and finances won't even come together because you have one person saving one end, you got another person saving another end, and they're not willing to come together and not trust one another. And that's one of the biggest issues in communication is a lack of trust. People don't trust each other no more. People is not trying to get to know one another. And that's a breakdown in communication in my viewpoint of it. And that's the way I see it. But you know, there's so many different ways and angles we can come at it. But that's just on my perspective.
Good deal, good deal. Charles Brogdon, how you doing, sir? Hold on. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Turn your volume on, Charles. We can't hear you. We're having a hard time. Say something, Charles. Okay, we have an issue with your sound, brother. Having an issue with your sound. Let me see. Mute it and unmute it. There you go. Try it now. Try it now, Charles. Okay. Do me a favor. It may be something with the system. Go out and come back in, and go out and come back in. Hopefully that'll fix your sound. Go out and come back in. Let me go back to what are you doing? Let me go to Don. Don, what's on your heart, man? We're saying we're putting the three elements out there: race, finance, and communication. Race, finance, and communication. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you said communication.
Yes, I did. And I think sometimes that let's just say blacks and whites come together. Let's just say they come together in a organization, in a, you know, whatever the case may be, and in a sense they can, let's just say, in their own mind, accept each other. I accept that you're different, that you're a different race than I am, and a different race than I, you know, we're different. But when you start dealing with true communication, I think that's a big breakdown. I appreciate what I'm hearing from everybody too. I really do, because some of these are so closely related. But I really think communication is a really, really key issue. It doesn't mean that because people have communication that they're going to change.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Let me throw this at you real quick. Now, if they had great communication, would that be able to fix the race and the finance part of it? If they had great communication,
if they had great communication and compassion, you have to have a heart of compassion. Because if I tell you, hey, listen, okay, we worked on the job. We both worked the same amount of time on the job. You got $65 and I got $15. Okay. So you probably enjoying your $65, but I'm not really enjoying my 15 because I really could have more. But but you might not even know that I just got $15. You got $65, but I come to you and tell you that, and you say, "Oh, wow!" So that person has two things to do. They can accept that, and okay, that's just the way it is, or they can have compassion. So that's unfair, you know. So I think it is communication is important to be able to express how we feel and about our history and our desires and dreams and our struggles and all that. But there's got to be communication and some compassion as well. But I think communication is very, very key.
Okay, good deal. Charles, do we have your sound? Can't hear you, brother. You got your rubber hammer? Got your rubber hammer? We're not able to hear you, brother. We're not able to hear you. Okay, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The communication piece is intriguing, and I was thinking about it, listening to the argument there, communication versus the others, and I was thinking about the year 2020. One of the things that's been on display on a big scale in 2020 is communication. The narrative in 2020 has been very clear. When you're talking about the situation with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all of the others who were shot by by law enforcement, when you talk about all of the injustices, one huge communication piece was the demonstrations, the marches. We communicated a great deal. There is no way that white America does not understand what Black America is crying out. But even with that, even with the only thing the communication did in that regard was put the problem and the issue on the table for assessment, for evaluation. And at the end of the day, I can hear you, I can understand what you're trying to communicate, but at the end of the day, I gotta have compassion in my heart. I have to go deeper than just me hearing you and you hearing me, because I've been a part of a whole lot of conversations where points were made. It was very clear, both sides of what they felt, of what their experiences were, and all of that. But then they were still divided. It wasn't a lack of communication that caused them to be divided. It was a lack of compassion. It was a lack of empathy. It was a lack of Christ. There was, and that racism piece, when it's deep when it's deeply entrenched in your heart, when you are a racist and you have been born, I mean, from the moment you were born, you were taught and raised in racism. That thing has a huge hold on you, and it's hard to let go. So a Black man can tell, if you're a white man, a Black man can tell you about all of the plight that he has experienced in America, and you'll hear him out, but won't have compassion for him because intrinsically you hate him because he's Black. And you can't even explain that. It's just something that you feel. When you see him, your stomach turns. You know, he's disgusting to you. It's because that's what you've been taught. So when you see these teenagers at these Ku Klux Klan rallies, man, that was taught to them. That's learned behavior.
Yes,
you know what else is learned behavior? Christianity. That's something that's taught, but it's based upon an inward witness. It's based upon the truth. It's based upon what God placed in you. And so that can be a whole lot more powerful than racism can ever be. I agree with the sister who said that, and I'm sorry, her name escapes me, but I agree with what she said in regards to the power of good over evil. You know, and I believe that's because God is backing the good. You know, when the enemy comes in like a flood and he lifts up a standard against him, you know, so I believe that good will prevail. But I think that evil and that racism in people's hearts is something that will far outweigh communication and let me also speak to one other thing that the lady said.
Miss Grace.
Raheem Grace. Miss Grace. Okay. One of the other things that Miss Grace had mentioned, she was talking about the young people, and you know what? I actually lost my train of thought. I wanted to speak to it when you came to me, but I couldn't remember it. I lost my thought. Come back to me on that. I do want to say something about that. I just don't remember what it was.
They're trying to.
Huh?
They're trying to wear. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get this thing together. It's going to take generations for that.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
It's too deep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Gracie, for saying that because it reminded me of what I wanted to say. She had mentioned about the young people and how the younger generation, youth, the future is in their hands, and I totally agree with that. But the thing that I want to challenge the older generation, my generation and older, even though we can't put our hands to the plow like the young people can, they're called to do that. It's their assignment to do that. But we also have an assignment. We also have something to do We can pour into that generation. It's too many of us that are disconnected from the future, from the youth, and they need our wisdom in order to be more effective in what they are called to do. We all play a part in it. No matter if you're 20, 30, 60, 70, 80, we all play a major role. We just have to stay in our lane and understand what that role is and do it to the best of our ability by the grace of God.
Good deal. Good deal. Charles,
He's right. He's
Charles,
right.
do you have your sound, Charles? Can we hear you?
Tell me. 1, 2.
There you go. There you go. I don't know what you did, but you sure did it, brother. You did it. I asked you the question, Charles. Where is the biggest divide in us? Is it race, finance, or communication? Where's the biggest divide?
So you give me 3 choices: race, finance, or education. Is that what you said? Or communication? Which one did you say?
No,
race,
it's gonna be, race, finance, or communication.
Well, I don't think it's either one of those. I mean, we're dealing with human nature. A lot of people do things based on human nature, and human nature is established and marinated as young children, and we end up coming into adulthood with stuff that we learned from our past, and we're not even aware of it that we learned from our past. And it basically dictates or influences what we do as adults. That's my take on it. I mean, I don't think anybody has any problem with communicating. I mean, we all know how to communicate. What's not taught in school is how to listen. We're told to shut up, but nobody's taught how to listen. And when you listen, you can process stuff and not necessarily, it always intrigued me on how in school, when we're coming up in school, you had to do your own work. It was an individual thing, individual performance. And as a matter of fact, if you attempted to get help or assistance from someone else, you were cheating. You were deemed to be cheating. However, when we grow up and get into the workforce, now we're arrayed as teams, and nothing gets done with, now you have to be a team member and you have to collaborate with other people coming from an environment where everything was an individual thing. So that's right there, that's a disc. It's a lot of conflicts that we go up with.
Exactly.
I don't think communication messes up our money. Okay. We've been programmed, developed, indoctrinated to make money, to work for money. I think everybody in your group has basically heard the same thing that I heard at home. Get good marks in school for the express purpose of being able to go to college. And the whole point of you going to college was so you can get a good job. And so nobody's talking about being an entrepreneur, being something on your own, having the independence of being innovative. No, we're basically developed to go to work for somebody so they can tell us what our worth is. And so so our efforts and our talents can make people rich. So, those 3 that you talked about, they're divides, but I believe it's a little deeper than that. It's a little, I'm going to say subconscious, more subconscious than that.
Got you. Leonard, good evening, sir. How you doing?
Gentlemen, good evening. Good evening.
Leonard, we're asking the question, where is the biggest divide in us? Is it race, finance, or communication? What do you think the biggest divide is, Leonard?
If I'm going to pretend that you all are responding on the assumption that there was some type of togetherness about this issue. Ever.
Mhm.
Where was what was divided? What was the division? What was that?
What a lot of the division happened later. If certain individuals will look at it, they would say the division would happen when we actually stepped on the soils of this great America. A lot of people will say that's where the division began because that's where they started doing different things to separate and divide us, and strategically to
I'm
separate
50.
and divide us. I'm sorry.
I'm 50.
Well, but it naturally learned it happened a lot before. It happened a lot earlier than you was even born on this on these
So
soils.
at one point you all were together?
At what point were we divided? Yeah, we have some issues with it. With some
Sounds
going
a
on
little
with the
better
system.
now.
Okay, but my thing is this right here. I've heard stories well before the time I was born here, because we were around the same age, and before I was born, before I was here, I've heard stories and I heard things being laid down of how it was a greater society. How when we came over here, we worked together when we first got here. But then you got things like what's that letter? What's that letter, Rashid, that are supposed to separate us? Not Jim Crow, but the Jim Crow as well, but Willie Lynch letter.
And see, and I ask this because one, there would have to be someone here that could explain how it used to be so great.
Leonard, how can there be one here when the years before we were born? That individual is dead now.
So are we talking about why we're divided now, or what happened then?
Well, why we're divided now is a result of what happened back then. But what we're talking about is today, the here and now is what we're talking about. And so we're asking the question, where is the biggest divide? Is it race? Is it finance? Or is it communication?
Well, who would you like to be linked to?
Leonard, I think you
No, I mean, I'm saying, for what purpose would I be with you? What are we talking about?
Okay, what purpose would you be against me, Leonard?
None. That's what I'm saying. We speaking of something as if we're all moving as one. Everybody thinks monolithically. No one has an opinion of their own. We got somebody directing us to do certain things, or something of that nature.
Let me ask you this question. We're at 34, so we're gonna actually go to our next square. But let me ask you this question: do you think there's a unity? Do you think there's a people right now? Do you think there's a solid unity of this thing that you're talking about?
Yes, I've ran into some people that operate very awesome collectives, and they're great, and they're serving their communities.
We're talking about as a whole. You know, naturally in anything,
there is no whole.
There is a whole, Leonard. How can it not?
What?
Whole unit of everybody. I say as a whole, us as a people. And for you to say that, then it's obvious you're not understanding the question as I'm asking. And maybe it's my delivery is not right, but my thing is right here. When we talk about as a whole, we're talking about all of us. A
lot of us are not dragging these chains around with us. So I speak for freed people. That's who I'm joined with. And I don't even associate with folks that enslave themselves.
And who are these freed people you're talking about?
Those people who have chosen to do for themselves individually to contribute to great communities and collectives that I work with on a regular basis. People of faith, people of goodwill. We have been working, New Order National Human Rights Organization, partnered with various communities to bring people together, to resolve issues. You know, we do mentoring, outreach, all types of things. So when we say unity, there must be something that you want to unify around.
But okay, now you say these are the people that you're talking about. You're talking about the freeze people. So, and we have to move on to our second
square. And great Christians as well. Great Christians. Great.
Okay,
Christians.
I can stay here. Listen to me now. I could stay here all night long, and we'll go 3 hours on this topic like this right here. But my thing is this right here. When you say you're talking about those particular people, you're talking about the saved people, or there's a part of what you're saying that say that the other people don't matter, and so there lies your division that we're talking about.
Well, maybe some folks that feel divided should call in.
No. You just made the point, because we say I'm talking about these people. I'm talking about the saved folks. So if you're talking about the saved folks, and that's only the people that you're talking about, basically what you're saying when you say that is everybody else don't matter. So if nobody else matter, there lies the division of what I was talking about when I asked you that particular question. Now let's go on to the second square. Our second square is this: has Charles, I'm coming to you with this square. Has the American dream changed? Has the American dream changed?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. I mean, what I grew up believing was the American dream was to, you have a home, 2 point some odd kids, a dog, white picket fence, and white picket fence around the home that you owned, and being able to earn a living. Let me put it that way. Now that was what was propagated. However, I have further examined what's really possible in America, and everybody's dream is not that picture I just painted. Everybody's dream is personal to them. Whatever their dream is, people risk their lives every day trying to come to this country, not for a job, not to earn a living, but for the opportunity to be all they can be. And so the notion of somebody, let's say, dictating what the American dream or my American dream, I'm not going to buy that. So the American dream, I don't know. Maybe if we could ask everybody on the panel what's the American dream, maybe we get just as many different descriptions of the American dream.
Exactly. Let me go to Don. What do you say to that? Has the American dream changed?
I think what Brother Charles was saying is important, because how we understand what our American dream was. Coming up, I was taught, well, you get a good job, get a good education, so you can have all those things that Brother Charles was talking about. And I think that we all have, the people in general still have that. I guess it depends on where you come from. If you come from an impoverished area and never had equal access, or felt like you did to many things, then it means just having a piece of the pie. But for a lot of people, it's already also meant having more than a piece of the pie, just having having a pie. You want a pie yourself. So that's it wasn't a big thing about going into business when I was coming up per se, but it was just a good job, And so I think we have more people who are thinking about business and going into business and this kind of thing. So I think the American dream has changed some for a lot of people. I think it kind of changes every year. I always like to bring this little cartoon I saw about this little kid in the class, and they said, "Well, what do you want to be when you grow up?" It was just, and he said, "I just want to be alive." And so for a lot of people, it's to live in a society where you can, not always be looked down upon. I think that's one of the dreams that we've had, that Black people have had for their children. My grandchildren, I don't want my grandchildren to be raised up in a society that despises her for the very fact that she's Black. And we've, been singing this song for a long time, and it seems like we would have gone past a lot of this, but with all the hate mongering from the top coming on down. And I just want to throw this out there. Somebody said something about a KKK rally. There was a time we would never even see a KKK rally on TV. But now they probably have just felt it's okay because they pit the BLM with the KKK. It's almost those two antithetic forces becoming each other. So it gives permission to put that kind of thing in front of us. But I think part of my American dream is I like Dr. King's dream. You want kids of all races to walk hand in hand and live together and not have somebody look down at each other because think you're inferior. You want to have equal access to economics and all that kind of thing. Those are, and I think so. Some of it changes, some of it stays the same. I guess
Hey, Don, let me ask you.
like that, brother was saying,
Don, let me ask you. Don, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Where we are right now, hopefully we'll move forward in a different direction. But where we are right now, do you see that dream as being a reality?
If we keep on as we are, if we keep on for another 4 years as we are, if we keep on with the latent hatred and those kinds of things going on in our country, if we keep all that, it's going to be hard for that to take place.
Good deal. Grace, has the American dream changed?
I think so. I think in one way, in one sense, it's broader, but in another sense, people realize that they cannot accomplish what they thought they could, and one reason for that is the high cost of education, and it takes education now really to realize an American dream. And it takes about $100,000 a year to educate a child, okay? There are not a whole lot of people who can afford that now. So as a result, it's kind of like they are accepting something a little less, even though for people who come here from other countries, even the less is greater than what they had then. So I consider that an upgrade, and they say, okay, not only is this better than nothing, it's much better than what I had. So we will go with this until we can make things better. But I believe the real American dream is gone. I really do.
Wow. Cornelius, what do you say to that, man? Has the American dream changed?
Raheem, as I was listening and I've really been falling over this in my mind as everyone else was talking. And I had to go back to where I was growing up and to make me bring it home to get an understanding or bring a different a proper perspective for me. When I was coming up, my mother always taught this to me. She told me to get married, to have a car, start a family, and have your own house. And most important of all, have good credit. Because when you have good credit, you can achieve a lot of things and do a lot of things. And these are the things that where I said, okay. But when my parents died, I was just out there. And I was early at the age of 20. And I lost that perspective of reaching that dream, so I could live from head to hand, from foot to foot, and just on my knuckles and try to make a life the best way I knew how. So when I finally accepted Christ in my life, he began to redeem the time for me and start restoring that vision of this so-called American dream. But in that dream, he wanted to get the glory out of my life to show people that he brought me from the guttermost to the outermost, so to speak. So why am I saying this? Now that I'm 49 years old, facing this so-called American dream, God put a wife in my life. Now I got a home, I got 2 cars, I got these things, I got a son from a different relationship. I just started a family with my wife because we in almost 50. So I'm saying that, and my biggest thing, because I was living from head to foot, I messed up my credit. So I never established good credit. The good thing about it, my wife got it. So she was able to do these things while I began to restore. And one of the biggest things that I thank God in this so-called American dream, I have a wife. And Raheem, I know you know this. It's nothing like a woman that you can come home to and have a peaceful home. And then you can have a great communication and talk intellectually with your wife, your best friend. You have established a relationship with a woman, and that is one of the biggest dreams that as a married man to come into your home, that you're going to work everything, work hard to do the best you can to make a living and still have a peaceful home. And that's the key to me of having an American dream, that I give God all the glory. Now, I'm in the process of trying to restore my credit, but at the end of the day, man, I'm at peace with that situation because I'm working. I got a decent job, and one of the most biggest things is that way you can save money, that way you can have all your bills paid and still got money in the bank to spare. That's a nice American dream for me. So that's the best way I could put it in perspective for me, man.
Good deal. Good deal. Leonard.
Sir. Sir, why are you laughing, sir?
That's my brother right there. My brother right there. Has the American dream changed?
I don't know. You know, I know that my parents were good people. You know, the people that the community they brought us into was full of good people. And folks seemed pretty content with what they had, their job. They really wanted health, and they wanted the ability to enjoy themselves. They worked at plants. A lot of them were on college tracks or military, and they went to General Motors, you know, worked there as long as they could. You know, some of them still trying after 40 years. But, you know, that was the life. And a lot of those were products of folks who fled the South. And so it seemed as if Christianity was far more important to us in my community. And it was more, and what you all are talking about is sometimes foreign to me, because I don't know what it's like I was raised with people who cared about one another. And so it was not important on what someone thought and all these types of things. It's when your brother was falling down, you help him. If somebody didn't have something to eat, you fed them. If you knew somebody who didn't have clothes, you got clothes and you took them there. And we were just a huge, you know, we had our church family and then we had our extended family. And so that's pretty much how I was raised in that environment. You mean the good, the bad, and the ugly, but nobody was better than nobody else.
Come on.
And so it was the best you could do is the best you could do. Always do the best you can do. You know the difference between right and wrong. If you choose that, guess what? This is gonna happen. If you want to give your life to the white man, go on out there and do something stupid if you want to. Them boys selling them drugs not gonna last long. So there was always something there to show you. Either I'm gonna choose the right or the wrong way. And that's the way we move. I'm not finished. I can't say I have a dream like that. Because it's new every day. It is new every single day now. You can afford yourself some comfort. But now is not that time for me. So if we got to get up and move, we move. If we got to fight, we fight. We do what we have to do, but we always put God first, and we know we'll be okay. That is the dream, is to keep going that way.
Keep moving on.
And don't let nothing keep us from getting that way. Don't let nothing stand in our way.
And she, did that sound like the Jeffersons? We're moving on up.
Oh, we got to.
To the east side.
East. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She, what is no. Better yet, has the American dream changed? She, we got a caller. We're gonna come here to you just 1 second. Has the American dream changed?
No. I don't believe that the American dream has changed. And with all due respect,
Is it out of reach? Is it out of reach?
I really don't care if it's out of reach, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to ask people who are pursuing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I, for one, am not one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
I used to pursue it, but now in my life, I'm on another level. I'm on a different level than the American dream.
Hold on.
You,
Hold on, she. Somebody that's on the line. We got a lot of background noise coming. Everybody that's on the phone line, mute your line for me until we call on you. Got a lot of background noise going on. Everybody, mute your line for me. From the telephone, mute your line for me. Go ahead, she.
I think the American dream is boring. Let's examine the American dream for a moment. It's the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
That's the American dream.
Yes.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Let's talk about life. Jesus is the life.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about liberty. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And the pursuit of happiness, I'm tired of pursuing happiness. Happiness is not something that I choose to pursue. Happiness is something that I have obtained in Christ. Mm-hmm. Happiness is not something. Look, happiness is something that I live in, right? I don't have to pursue happiness. And I think when people pursue happiness, that's one of the things that gets us away from what God would have us to do. I am not trying to please me. I am trying to please God. Mm-hmm. And I think we get tripped up when we fall in love with this life. The Bible says if you lose this life for his sake, you're going to find it, right? So when we are so caught up in the cares of this life, the deceitfulness of riches, the lust of other things, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, the lust of the eye, those things trip us up. It's so interesting that the American dream is kind of working against God's plan for your life and what God called us to do. If I am a Christian, if I am one who loves God and is pursuing God, then I shouldn't be pursuing happiness, even though I am happy.
That's what I was about to say. I want you to clear that up because I didn't want people to walk away from this. And like I said, we're broadcasting 50th country. I don't want people to think that we're saying.
Let me talk about happiness. Happiness is based upon things that happen. Mm-hmm. Happiness is based upon things that happen. All right. Mm-hmm. So happiness can move and sway from situation to situation. When it's about a perspective that you have based upon things that are happening, right? Mm-hmm. Joy is what I would like to have that comes from the inside. Happiness comes from the outside. Joy comes from the inside. So what I want is to have the joy of the Lord. That way, regardless of the situation, regardless of what's going on, I have joy and this world can't take it away from me. But happiness is something that's fleeting. And you can choose to be happy based upon your perspective. It all depends on how you see a thing. That's going to determine your happiness. I believe that external things can't make me happy. If external things make me happy, you know what that means? That means if you take them away, then you take away my happiness. My happiness will be it's the condition attached to it. It's contingent upon the things. But my happiness is far greater and is much deeper than things, man. My happiness is wrapped up in the Lord. So when God is pleased, I am pleased. So I can't afford to pursue happiness. See, that's the American dream. But the goal that I have as the man of God is to please God, not to seek to please myself and get caught up in creature comfort. That's one of the things that causes selfishness and causes a whole lot of the evil in this world is based upon this pursuit. But if you pursue God, if you pursue pleasing him, then that's where every good thing that ever happens in this world comes from.
Guess who's back?
So that's where I am. I'm on that level, man. The American dream is whack to me, man. The American dream is boring to me. Because I'm looking towards ministry, which is fueled by my love for God, which was fueled by his love for me.
Good deal. Good deal. Charles Brockton, what's up, brother? We got a few more minutes before we go to our next square. What's on your heart?
No, I mean, I've already given you my thoughts on this whole thing.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
The American dream is a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Nobody's going to dictate to me what my dream is.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Got you. Don, what's on your heart? And Leonard, come to you next. Don,
I think, you know, as we, yeah, I mean, it is personal because every person determines what that dream is for them. Because, and I hear what Rashida is saying, and I have also that desire to serve the Lord. I think if I were serving the Lord, let's just say in a different country, then I would still be serving the Lord, but I'd have to look at my life based on that country. And so there are certain things that the American, our Constitution provides for us in this country that we are all entitled to. And I think for me, that is part of what I want to have in addition to seeking God's glory. I want God's glory to be number one, but I'm not oblivious to the fact of where I am and who I am and what country I live in and what are the possibilities for not just me, but for other people as well.
Good deal. Leonard, what's on your heart before we go to our next square?
Oh, I thought we had been to me already. But, you know, I mean, I'm like my man Charles there. Good evening. I haven't been on with him before. I'm like my man Charles said. It's a very personal thing. And I like how Don really brought up the fact that dream got to be American. You know, if you're going to dream, why would you even bind yourself to that? I didn't even have to come back to the United States of America, and I would have been fine. I think that, like Brother Charles said, it's what you want. That's why I love to see cats doing what they want. I don't really care what they're doing. But if that brother happy, I'm happy for him because he's happy. If he's doing what he wants to do, I'm happy for him. If he get up every day with a smile on his face and lay down that way at night, man, that's worth gold. That's gold. That's gold, man.
Ain't got nothing to do with the American dream.
Ain't got nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it at all.
Gotcha.
It's being able to enjoy the life you have.
Okay. Now I'm great. I got another square now. And Toussaint, good evening, sir. How you doing, Toussaint? Good deal. Toussaint, how's the weather there, man? I know you down where the storm is coming through, man. Are you okay? How's
it's been slowed down a little bit, so I think we're gonna be all right. We're on the west side of it. As long as we can be on the west side, we're good.
Okay.
We're gonna get it out of there.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna bring my next square. I'm gonna start it off with you, Donna. And I'm gonna ask you this question. And this question right here, this is an open-ended question. So everybody probably gonna give me a different answer. But here it is. Is I don't want to talk about it. Is the phrase I don't want to talk about it. Is it different when it comes from a man than when it comes from a woman?
Depends on the man and the woman. It is different.
is definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
Because when a woman, and excuse me, my sister, I see you on the line, but when it comes on a woman, oh yeah, they want to talk about it. And they're going to talk about it to somebody. They might not talk to you about it. But just because they use the phrase, that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
In my experience.
Mm-hmm.
They want to talk about it, but they don't want to talk about it either at that time or to you.
Okay.
Now, when me or some men say I don't want to talk about it, then that's a different avenue, really, because you leave the house, go riding, go to the man cave,
Mm-hmm.
or just sit there and don't say a word because you really don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when some men, not all, but most men, I would say, maybe I'm wrong, but when they say, I don't want to talk about it, you can talk all you want to. They won't hear a word you say.
She, what's on your heart, man? When the phrase "I don't want to talk about it," is it different when it comes from a man than when it comes from a woman? What do you say?
And what's on my heart is that I'm glad my wife left the room right before Toussaint spoke. We'd have some things to talk about. You know what? I don't know. Where's my wife? I might agree with Toussaint a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Be careful. She can hear you. Be careful. She can hear you.
Sure.
Don't tell her I said that. I was thinking though, when he was talking, I was thinking of something else too. By the time he makes a good point. I mean, let's just be honest, man. Women really love to talk. Probably more than men.
No.
Probably. So, having said that,
Mm-hmm.
by the time a woman says she don't want to talk about it, you probably in trouble.
In a situation. You're in a situation, huh?
You have probably gone too far. She's fed up, and I hate to quote the infamous R. Kelly.
Yeah.
But
Ain't
when a
nothing.
woman's fed up,
Stop
man,
it.
Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Stop it.
So you don't want to get your woman to the place that she says, I don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, men just off GP don't want to talk about it. In a lot of cases, it probably ain't even that serious. Just don't feel like talking about it. And a lot of times, a woman can persuade that man to reconsider.
Mm-hmm. Leonard, hold on, Leonard. What you shaking your head for, Leonard? Wait a minute.
It's so comical.
Her
Rashid,
persuasion abilities are off the charts.
Rashid hilarious. I'm gonna tell you for real. He cracks me up for some reason.
Let me go.
Yeah. That's
but
my
I'm just honestly, and let me take my turn, right?
Go. Oh Lord, I don't know if I'm ready for you, brother. Go ahead.
Because I just want to listen to everybody else, because I am so blessed.
Mm-hmm.
I do not deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's such a blessing to the point it's strange.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like I get to know my wife every day. 21 years, not one fight. We don't argue. We say, I want to talk. I can't even think. I can't even imagine not talking about whatever she wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I mean, it's just a blessing. I've been divorced before. You know, nothing really big deal. Just bad days outweigh the good days. So I'm with somebody 21 years now, and it seems maybe it was a couple weeks or so. It's because it's that respect part that I'm listening, and it's so funny to me because I can't imagine her saying, I want to talk about something, or because she's not that type of person. And me, for instance, I never want to talk about anything. So it doesn't matter to me. I'll talk about whatever you want. I mean, you know, that's what I do. So it doesn't bother me that much.
Hey, let me say this right here. I joke and I kid, but I don't want
is your wife back in?
Yeah, I don't want it to come across like my wife in any way, form, or fashion is like that. As a matter of fact, my wife may be, no, I think she is the quietest person that I know, that I have ever known. And Raheem, you know her and how she is. She's so quiet spirited and sweet, and so what Leonard is saying, I can definitely identify with that. She's so peaceful and awesome. My wife is awesome. I gotta sing her praises because I didn't want to come like what I just came and people assume that I'm talking about my wife. I was actually just speaking in general terms. I actually feel like I have
you don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, I don't want that smoke. I don't.
We're very, you know, it's good, like the brother was saying, man, it's good that like Brother Cornelius was saying, when you've been married as long as I've been, like I said, I've been married the majority of my adult life. So, you know, it's that point where if, say, for instance, do you and your best friends fight all the time? You don't.
No, not at all.
Right, you don't. So why would you fight with your spouse?
Exactly. Let me pull some more people into this to this conversation. I want to go to the young lady now, and I want to ask her, Grace, what do you say to that? And we're gonna go to the phone line again. Is the term "I don't want to talk about it"? Is it different when it comes from a man, Grace, or when it comes from a woman? Grace, you there? Hello.
I am here.
Okay, good.
Put my phone on mute. I'm here.
Okay, good deal. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. What I was going to say is usually when a woman says, I don't want to talk about it, she's upset about something right then. And maybe it's best for her not to say anything right then. She might be unwinding, processing, or whatever. But usually when a man says, I don't want to talk about it, it's because usually there is something that's going to be reflective in the background that's going to put him on the spot, and he doesn't want to go through that. So he doesn't want to talk about it. And his way of dealing with it is saying, I will dismiss it by saying, I don't want to talk about it, and that's going to cure it, but it only makes it worse. You see what I'm saying? Because it is not going to go away. Eventually, you're going to have to communicate and find out what that is.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. And the other thing is this: often what he doesn't realize is he is not hiding anything. It's kind of like a cat trying to hide behind a blade of grass. He might get his paws and his head down, but the hump is back there. See. And so you see that behind the blade of grass. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the truth. But with the lady, usually it's something that is hurtful. She's trying to avoid getting this situation escalated or whatever. I don't want to talk about it right now. Eventually. She will when she calms down. She's trying to avoid bad communication, actions and this kind of thing.
Exactly.
Just give me some space to kind of calm down, and then maybe later we can discuss it.
So basically, she's saying get over on the other side of the house, wherever you got to go, so I ain't got to split your wig. Charles, what do you say to that, man? Charles, what do you say to that? I don't want to talk about it. Is it different when it comes from a man or if it comes from a woman? What do you say, Charles?
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to assume that you're talking about a couple, a married couple. Is that
Yes.
what is that?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm hearing a lot of the stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, so you know, I'm present to the fact that men and women are wired different. Men essentially come from compartments. They you know, if they into the game, they into the game. You know, it's usually a time thing. You know, women on the other hand, their brains are like I'm gonna say
Be careful,
spaghetti.
brother.
No, spaghetti. You know, I don't want it to be misunderstood when I say spaghetti, but I'll define it as things.
What?
Things are connected.
Mhm.
Everything's
Okay.
connected. Where with the man, you know, things are compartmentalized,
Mhm.
not so much connected. And you know, you mentioned in a previous conversation here about what keeps us apart, and you know, and communication was one of them. I mean, if you're talking about a marriage situation, uh, rides on communication, effective communication. As a matter of fact, effective communication, not just
Yeah.
communication. So I don't want to talk about it. If I were to hear something like that, it's similar to like in the sales arena, when somebody says, "No, I don't want that."
Mhm.
Uh, to me, what you said is that I'm not interested in it now,
Mhm.
right now. You know, because I didn't really get a no.
Mhm.
So I don't want to talk about it. To me, is going to sound like maybe this is not the best time.
Yeah.
Like I think Grace shared, you know, when you don't want to talk about stuff, and I gotta say, you gotta talk about stuff. You gotta talk about stuff because people come at you with something already in their head. They
Mhm.
already have come to some kind of a conclusion about something. And when they want to talk about something, they want to either dispel or confirm. Okay. So it's
Mhm.
probably to your advantage to just go ahead and talk about it. Now, you know, I come from this perspective because my wife and I, we facilitate um, marriage, you know, marriage groups,
Mhm.
premarital, and also people that you know, want to strengthen their marriage or have some difficulty with their marriage. And that's one of the tenets in there. I mean, communication, you have to have communication.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the other party gets to come to whatever conclusion they want to come to if you don't clean it up or clarify it. See, so that's that's what. And by the way, you know, we've been married for 41 years. You know, I've been married to the same woman for 41 years, and
Praise.
well, to God is it goes to glory
Yes,
only
sir.
because it wasn't about me and it wasn't about her. It's just God gets the glory for that. But
Exactly.
you know, and I tell you, that's where we're talking about marriage situations. You know, we made it clear before we took the vows that you know, I love God before, you know, over you,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
vice versa, because we weren't going to rely on one another
Mhm.
for our happiness.
Exactly. Exactly. Hold on, Charles. Let me pour a few more people. As a matter of fact, I think I have Mary. Mary, are you there?
I am. Good evening.
Good evening. I got my baby girl. She been
Good
out
evening.
Is she on medication?
No, she ain't on no medication. What are you talking about? Wait a minute now. Mary.
What's up, little Mary?
Congratulations.
Absolutely, absolutely. Boy, y'all something else. Y'all something else. Is
congratulations?
Huh?
Someone said congratulations?
Yes.
Who was that?
There was Leonard. I think it was Leonard. Okay. Let me ask you the question though. Is I don't want to talk about it different when it comes from a man or when it comes from a woman? Is it different?
Ooh, I can't speak for a man, but I can't speak about women either. But I know when I say it, it's because I just don't want to talk at the moment about the situation because I'm already irritated and it's just not going to be a healthy conversation at that point.
It's not going to be a healthy conversation?
No, because I'm not going to listen to the other person's side at the moment. I'm just going to say what I need to say, and it's going to get out again. So.
Okay. Let me go to Jamie. Jamie, good evening, sir. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm doing well, sir. Peace and blessings be unto you all.
Hey, peace and blessings to you as well. I need to ask you a question, Jamie. Is I don't want to talk about it. Is it different when it comes from a man or if it comes from a woman?
You know, Raheem, I'm sort of like Mary on this, but a little different. I don't believe it ever trying to answer things from a man's perspective, because I believe everyone's an individual. I can speak for myself between me and my wife.
Okay.
When the term "I don't want to talk about it" comes up, that's a bigger problem than whatever it might be in response to, because we've kind of acknowledged that at the head of our life, it's the Spirit of Christ. So there should always be peace in the home. And when someone gives you an answer like that, just as Mary alluded to, that means you have a third entity operating. So I look at it from a spiritual sense. It's at that time where you need to use a little bit more persuasion, maybe more word to address this issue, because as long as that's there's something else abounding. And if you don't conquer today, it grows stronger, and it only comes back tomorrow. So when and wherever possible, that phrase there, it is nullified.
Good deal. Don, what do you say to that, Don? If I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it. Is that different if it comes from a man or it comes from a woman?
It just depends. It depends on who the people are. Some people will say that when they really do want to talk about stuff. Of course, our default, men's default, is that when we say we don't want to talk about it, that's our default. Yes, we all, which is really true. Somebody mentioned earlier, but somebody might say that on both sides. I really don't want to talk about it, and they really do, want to talk about it. But I think you have to use wisdom. Wisdom will say, okay, respect that and let it be. Maybe we'll talk about it later. Is it okay? Can we talk about it later? Or, if it's just something that's really pressing, you go on and see if you can pursue it. But just respect the person, I think. But I think it depends on, it may mean different things to different people. The man or the woman might perceive it both ways.
Exactly. Let me see, Donald, what's on your heart? Your mind changed on a little bit. What's on your heart, Donald? Toussaint.
You talking to me?
Donald Toussaint.
You talking?
Donald Toussaint. Donald, you there? Donald, wake up.
He don't want to talk about it.
He don't want to. I see. She, what do you say to that, man? Talk to me, brother. I don't want to talk about it now. If she say that to you, is it different than if you say it to her?
Well, I had a couple thoughts. I get to the next one. I thought about my household. That statement is rare. Now, I was about to say it never happens, but then I thought of a couple of times when it does happen. But the key when that statement is made is not, I don't want to talk about it, period. The key words is, I don't want to talk about it right now. It's understood as a temporary place. The only reason that I have ever used that phrase, and I don't ever think my wife has used that phrase. I don't ever recall her saying that, but I do recall me saying it, and it's because I wasn't in a space at that time where I felt like what I was going to say was going to be fruitful. So I thought it was the responsible thing for me to do to step back, take a breather, make sure that I get myself together and get myself in the proper space, because we always want to maintain the respect for one another. And I don't ever want to try to excuse me raising my voice, being disrespectful towards my wife. I cherish her. She's my queen. There's no reason why I would ever want to speak to her out of pocket. So if I feel like my emotions are in a place where I don't trust myself in that moment, then I will ask her for time. And that's what that is. Just give me a minute so that I can get myself together. And her response is also critical. Her response can't respond with an attitude. She has to be respectful enough to me to give me that. Okay, well, we'll talk about it later, and then be okay with that. The other thing that I wanted to mention, I thought it was interesting listening to Miss Gracie, because it comes across like there is a understood, there's a perception that we have about when women say it versus when men say it. And it came across like when women say it, it's because they're fed up, which is actually a perception that I had as well, just in my view of just people relations. And when men say it, it's because they're trying to hide something because they're in trouble. Why do men always in trouble? Why do men always the ones that's perceived to be doing wrong?
We get in trouble now. We get in trouble now.
Right. But why is that the label? Like it's automatically assumed when I don't want to talk about it because I'm trying to hide something, But when a woman don't want to talk about it, it's because so when I don't want to talk about it, it's because of something I did wrong. And if she don't want to talk about it, it's because of something I did wrong.
So we always
because of something I did wrong.
Most of the time.
I don't ascribe to that philosophy, by the way. I just thought it was interesting.
Oh, good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Rico. Rico, good evening, sir. How you doing?
All right. How is everybody doing this evening?
Hey, doing good. Rico, I need to ask you this question, man. The term, the phrase, I don't want to talk about it. Does it mean something different when it comes from a man and when it comes from a woman? Does it mean something totally different? What do you say?
No, I don't believe that's true. I believe it is the only time it's different is when it's depending on the situation or the conversation that needs to be had. That's the only time it's different. I mean, I expect that if a woman had a bad day at work and she's fed up and just want to get home and don't think about what happened, she might respond the same way a man would. Maybe I don't want to talk about it right now. Give me a minute. Let me calm down. Had an argument with the supervisor or whatever. So, people respond to things differently. But when you need to take that 10-second break. But I mean, if you are saying it because you need to avoid a situation where you are guilty, not saying anybody's going through this situation, but you might get caught with your pants down doing something wrong. You get caught red-handed with from a text message that didn't get deleted. And all of a sudden now, baby, we need to talk about this. I don't want to talk about that right now. I wish you would tell me that.
Okay.
I wish you would tell me that this ain't the time to get no 10 seconds. I need to know something right now. I don't even want to give you a chance to make up a good excuse. You know what I'm saying? There ain't enough movies for you to wrestle. I need to get the business. So it depends on the situation. You just can't put that in on a specific group.
Gotcha. So basically, you're saying ain't no 10 second, ain't no break now.
No, it depends on the situation.
Okay. Now I've been holding Cornelius for a second because I definitely want to hear that, brother. Cornelius, what do you say to this, brother? Is it different?
Yeah, I was just listening to everybody. And I was just thinking about something from my own perspective. Like today, I always, when my wife get off work and she get home, and I always ask her how her day went. And today she got off, and I said, "How your day went?" She's like, she just smiled, and she said, "I ain't gonna complain." So that right there, that told me she didn't want to talk about it. Because that was her word. I'm not gonna complain. I got a job. I thank God for my job. I ain't saying nothing. And that was that. And I said, "So you really don't want to talk about it, huh?" She said, "I ain't gonna complain." So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that." And in that, as you learn relationships and your spouse, you learn their different ways of responding to things. And and you've been like Leonard said, he's been in his relationship 21 years, and my man said he's been in his relationship 40 years. They done learned their spouse over this period of time. So they know they like and they dislike, they know how they respond. And anyone that's been in marriage for long periods of time, as you learn and communicate with each other, you will learn all these different things if they don't want to talk about stuff. And same with me. I've been in my marriage now 6 years. Now, when it first started, she got frustrated about something. She told me, "I really don't want to talk about it right now." But now she's seen, and in me, I get frustrated about something. For me, as a man, I like to process things. Because my emotions right now, they get frustrated. So I have to process it first before I can talk about it. Because I don't want to disrespect my wife in no type of way. And by the grace of God, I've been married now 6.5 years, and we never had an argument. Because we learned how to respect each other's space for time to deal with whatever situation we're dealing with. So in saying that, man, I got to get back to work. So I'm done talking about it. God bless you, bro.
Hey, bless you as well, brother. Now we're going to go to our fourth square. We got to go to our fourth square, and let me start this off with she. She don't start this fourth square off with you. I'm actually going to bring you up on the full screen to handle this. So I'm going to ask the question. In America, we back on America now. Somebody got something playing in the background. Mute your lines, everybody. Somebody got a TV or something playing in the background. There you go. Everybody mute your TV. Mute your phone. Somebody got something going on in the background there. Hold on for a sec. Everybody on the phone. Everybody on the phone. Mute your line. Mute your line. If you're on the telephone, mute your line. Good deal. Good deal. In America, can we at times be guilty until proven innocent? What do you say to that?
You know the answer to that. Usually that is the case, especially when you're guilty by the court of public opinion. And don't let there be surveillance, and you leave it up to the interpretation of the public, and the media gets a hold of it and people get to talking about it. Yeah, a lot of times that happens, particularly with Black people, but we won't go there. But yeah, depending on the perception of the people who are judging, to those people, you may be. And that's why it's so important that you are prudent and have some integrity in choosing a jury of your peers. You have to make sure that process is untainted, because that's the key to that whole process. Because really, if your jury is tight, if your jury is solid, then it really doesn't matter what the public thinks. So you said be guilty until proven innocent. Well, officially, you're not guilty until that judge hits that gavel.
Yeah.
And says until they say not guilty, until the foreman says guilty or not guilty. You're still in limbo. People can have opinions, people can have thoughts, and people can prejudge, but the judge is the one that judges of your particular case. So, yeah, in public opinion, we can be considered guilty by people who think what they want to think, but technically you are innocent, but you're not treated that way in most cases, and it's sad. That's the injustice of this society in this country. We're flawed. Our entire system is flawed, and that's how we have these disparities, because we have a flawed people trying to operate a system, and it causes the system to be flawed. So
good deal.
So we need to. Oh, okay. Good deal means shut up. So I'm going to I'm going to yield my time.
Good. Look at good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Charles. Charles, what do you say to that? Here in America, can we sometimes be guilty until proven innocent?
Absolutely. I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, on one hand, you say, back in the day, we used to refer to the justice system as just us. We're the only one that get, it's just us that get thrown into jail. But yeah, and that's what the lip service is. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, whether it's a civil case or a criminal case, somebody accuses you of something, you got to come out of your pocket to prove yourself innocent.
Wow.
I'm going to say relatively recently, where an individual had a jury of his peer. If you don't have a jury of your peers, and you're on the downside already before the trial even starts. And if you don't have a sufficient counselor, advocate, you're out there again. There's too many cases of people, an advocate getting paid to defend somebody and telling you to take a deal because somebody wants you to take a deal, and you didn't do anything.
Exactly.
Or you didn't do what you're accused of. Let me put it that way. So, yeah, I mean, unfortunately,
good deal. Good deal.
They got this thing called circumstantial evidence. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm finished.
Lord, boy,
he put the hook out.
Let me go to boy, y'all or something else. Donna Tucson. Donna Tucson. Donna, here in America, are we guilty until proven innocent?
Yeah. Guilty. Just guilty. Let me tell you this thing down. I'm trying to do some stuff.
Okay.
Look. What makes you guilty? What makes you guilty in America? And I think that this is just me. And I'm not racist. I'm not. I am partial. But if you have a certain.
Did he say I am partial?
Skin. Yeah, I am. Okay. For real. If you have a certain skin tone, you're guilty. Period. Get that through your head. If you have a certain skin tone, you're guilty. Here's two people riding down the road. One's going 45 in the 35, and one's going 55 in the 35. based on the tone of your skin, they're gonna pull you over. How did that happen?
Something don't say something in the buttermilk ain't clean, and flying the buttermilk ain't clean. Let me go to Grace. Grace, what do you say to that? Here in America, are we sometimes guilty until proven innocent? Grace, are you there?
Yes, I am here. I had to take it off mute. Not for us. Usually, we are guilty until, with definite proof, without exception, we are proven innocent. And the other thing is this: I have never seen an African American have a jury of their peers. I don't think they really know what that means. You understand what I'm saying? Because I have never seen an all Black jury. I might see two people, if at all, in a white jury, but they usually make the decisions. You understand what I'm saying? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my point is that they do not have a jury of their peers. And in most cases, unless there is definite proof without exception, they are guilty. They get heavier sentences, and that's simply the way it is. It is the norm. It is the American way. Okay.
Wow.
It's the truth. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is indeed the American way, and until we do what the Constitution says, it's going to stay that way.
Good deal.
They always get the lower end of the totem. It's bad news. All right.
Absolutely. Jamie, what do you say to that, man? Here in America, we are guilty until proven innocent.
Well, Raheem, I'm going to put it to you this way. Innocent isn't something that's determined by what someone says I am. Innocent is determined by if I did it or not. So as far as if someone finds me innocent versus my being innocent, that's two different things. I'm going to maintain my innocence if I'm innocent, regardless. It's like the truth. It doesn't become a lie because it's not favorable. It remains the truth. So if I'm innocent, I'm innocent. Regardless of what decision, that's why there's injustice. It was done unjustly or unjustly that I was found guilty. We gotta let those terms kind of be relevant. Otherwise, we almost sound as bad as they do. That's the American way. No, it's not.
Okay, good deal. Let's keep this thing going. Let me go to Mary. Mary, what do you say to that? Are we sometimes guilty until proven innocent?
That is a good question for the next speaker.
For the next speaker?
Yeah.
It's not a good question for you?
It is not.
Okay. Well, we're gonna keep moving. How about that? We're gonna keep it moving, and we're gonna go right now. Let me go to whoever I not called on. Let me see my list. Leonard.
Yes, sir.
Are we sometimes guilty until proven innocent? Rico, coming to you next.
I really like Jamie's response. You know, it's not what people say. Innocence, I believe in innocence. That's the whole reason why I'm an activist as well. Because if you're innocent, regardless of what people say. I'm from the school, and I don't know if there's many people around that remember when we used to say sticks and stones or hurt your bones. But I don't care what you call me. Period. You can stand over there and say whatever you like. If I'm innocent, I'm innocent.
Yeah.
That's glory for me. If I'm suffering for righteousness' sake. So we can go to jail on that one. We can sit all day on that. Because see, if you've done something wrong, you deserve to be there. But if you know you right, you need to hang on to that being right, regardless of what folks say.
What if let me ask you this question. What if they say that and I'm just throwing this out there, you know, come back the way you do. If you say that you're guilty, you know you didn't do it, but you say you're guilty, we'll give you a light sentence and let you go home. That's the trap that they use a lot of times to a lot of people and get them to admit to being guilty, even if they know they didn't do it.
I mean, I don't think that's not much of a trap as it is a decision that you made.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one, I remember, and you know, from sitting on hours and hours of consulting and things like that with people in these situations,
Mm-hmm.
I let them know, brother, you know, you have rights. You can choose to do what you want right now. If you take a deal, I can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're admitting guilt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you thought or what that smooth talker told you. If you took a deal, you admitted guilt, and there are certain rights you no longer have, like the right to an appeal. So I can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go and pitch a cause for your injustice unless you can show me that you confessed or you made this deal under duress.
Mm-hmm.
So see, if you took a deal, I doubt you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because I believe what you say. I don't care what nobody else say. But if you say you did it, I'm gonna believe you.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Let's go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, to me,
Mm-hmm.
if you're talking about if you are guilty in the court of law,
Until proven innocent.
it's not sometimes, but at any time you can be guilty and have to prove yourself innocent before proving yourself innocent. And it's a record number of people being exonerated every year from prison, from life sentences and death row. Death row. I mean, we talking about they about to get taken up out of here. Exonerated.
Mm-hmm.
They played their innocence. They were still found guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been, amongst a group of their peers, or may not have. But the elephant in the room is police misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
The police, the other elephant in the room is withheld evidence through prosecutors.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty tactics, people just getting prosecution so they could build up their resume and move on and progress on up the ladder in government.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we have to look at the reality of things. People are getting exonerated all the time for that type of stuff. So yeah, for the law, for the people that the numbers lean more in favor of just going through that, yeah, we are 9 times out of 10 at any time can be guilty before being proven innocent.
Good deal. Good deal. Don, what's on your heart? What do you say to that, man? A lot of times, are we guilty until proven innocent?
Yeah, it's tragic. It's tragic. Even though you have the satisfaction, I know you're innocent. That's not enough because we are, public perception, public opinion, colors. What people are. That they're guilty, and that's a tragic thing.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really is. And so many times that's the situation. The lawyers now have they even know how to scan through the members of the jury and know what kind of background some of these people are from. And they can kind of pretty much tell how things are going, how they're going to vote this way or the other. And I think Grace said something very significant about jury of your peers. So if unless you got people who really are going to be totally objective and the whole kind of thing, if they can be, then yeah, you're guilty until proven innocent many, many times, and that's a tragic thing. So yes, it is true.
Exactly. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller 561 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Probably Grace.
Oh, that's Grace calling back.
everybody. So that's where Erica.
Okay, good deal, good deal. She, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. In this world that we live in, man, where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. How did it get flipped? How did it get flipped so quickly to the point where you got so many innocent people that they was talking about being incarcerated?
I don't know, man. I wish I had the answers. I know it gotta be tough. You know, I was listening to my brothers and, you know, putting myself in the shoes of someone who's facing a plea deal. You know, it's real easy for me to sit here and say I wouldn't do it. Principally, that's the right thing to not take a plea deal. But man, when you facing that kind of hard time, you know, go through that trial and you facing life in prison in most cases. Some people may be facing the death penalty in some cases, and you gotta weigh that out. Like, man, do I lie and say that I'm guilty and get leniency, or do I take this hard sentence? Okay, the right thing to do is to tell the truth and stand by your innocence. But man, I am not in. I'm gonna come like Mary. I'm not in a position to say whether or not I would do that, because I've never been in that position, and I can only imagine how tough that is. But that's a time when we need to trust God. Now, I'm not saying what I would do, because I ain't never been in that position. I'm saying what would be the right thing to do, and what I would have to do is muster up the strength. I would have to have the grace of God to trust him, to not hang on to this life to the point where I'm so afraid of a consequence that I would lie. And that would be my first point of guilt, is lying, because I could have been innocent the whole time. But by the time I lied, then that was the thing that I did that would have been wrong. And, you know, listen, you can be in prison physically, but be free internally. You can be free in your mind. The prison is filled with a whole bunch of people who are innocent, but their conscience is intact because they know the truth and they stood by the truth and they never compromised. And I would like to think that that's something that would help me to maintain my peace in those situations. But man, I know, and I'm quite sure a lot of us on this panel know people who have been incarcerated, and some of us may have been those people who were incarcerated, and it ain't no joke. Let me tell you something. I spent a weekend in jail, and it ain't no joke. So you talk about life? Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a big model.
Yeah, I would have to pray for those individuals and continue to hold them up. But that's a toughie, man.
Charles, what do you say to that? What's on your heart, Charles?
Well, you know, I try to reach out and do a little research on that, and it's what I came up with was that particular concept is symbolic. You know, it's not written any place. It's, you know, what happens is that particularly on the criminal side, you know, the prosecutor's job is to convict beyond reasonable doubt. And so, you know, there is, you know, so the reality of it is no one's innocent until they're proven guilty. Meaning, when you go to court, the prosecutor has to present enough evidence to get a jury, to convince a jury that you're guilty of whatever you're charged with.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I'm glad you came back to me, man. Cause I normally don't like to get too personal, but I can sort of speak on that. taking a plea deal, you know, and not taking one. It really depends on where you stand in your life at that time, what you're going through. You could be struggling and just tired of going through some stuff, or maybe you in a good situation and you got fight in you. I had a situation where I was looking at some time, and what I was looking at the time for, I wasn't in the wrong, and I got offered a deal. I went ahead and took that deal because I had too much to lose. Even though I wasn't in the wrong, I said, I'm gonna go ahead and take the deal. And I'm gonna tell you one part about that. I had a public defender, and the public defender that got me the deal, she ended up leaving the job, going to work for somebody else. And so when I went back to court the next time to accept the deal, they tried to go ahead and sentence me then to a year and a day. I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't the deal you offered me the last time. So I'm wondering what my public defender is. She took a job with the state attorney's office. So she done jumped from defending people, prosecuting people. So, okay. I see how that system go. I'm like, wait a minute. So I guess that's the route that you have to take if you don't get picked up by a law firm. You know, you just get your work in or whatever you want to specialize in, or jump over if you career driven. So I saw how that went through the little situation, got out. You know, I was real good. I said from then on, what I'll do is I'll call the police and use them in my favor, because I don't want to get accused of being threatening. I already got I got my hands tied behind my back. If I violate them, I'm going to jail anyway. So what I need to do is call them and utilize them when I can. And so I did. And when I did, the story got switched and Rico went to jail. So now I'm looking at this thing, but this time I'm hot. I'm like, wait a minute. I was the victim. I needed help. I called y'all. I did what y'all told me to do. I've been doing what y'all told me to do. And y'all still keep on doing this to me. I'm spending money burning out of jail. What's going on? So I decided this time I ain't even burning out. I don't get that money back. I sit it out. I sit in there 3 months. And each time I go to court, the other people don't show up. So they sit me there again, want me to wait. And so I finally talked to my new public defender then, at this point in time. And he tells me I should just accept the deal. I know I'm not in the wrong because I'm the one called the police. So I had to fight him on the spot and represent myself. But I finally just stood up for myself on my own and got out that same day. No time, case just dropped. And the judge actually, she gave me a little nod to let me know that she was proud of what I did, because I knew what they were trying to do. They were just trying to make me another number, another statistic. But the thing is if I had taken that plea deal that time, I probably would have went down. But see, it's just hard to say when somebody shouldn't, because like I said, it depends on where they are in life at that time. They might be in a weak place. They might not just be. They might be going through some things and confused and just frustrated and not thinking clearly. And I'm gonna tell you something. When you are in the heat of that moment, when you are in that situation, if you aren't prepared right, your brain will go in all kind of directions. It'll sound like somebody talking a foreign language to you, and the only thing you will hear is the bad words. And so it's like, everybody can't respond the same, but I was almost a victim of getting incarcerated for a good bit of time for things I didn't do. And so, when you say, can we be guilty before proven innocent? Well, I got some months off of my life for calling the police. I probably could have just went and hid in the grocery store or something, got away. But, I called the police, and I ended up losing time out of my life. And like I said, there's other people got worse stories than me. I mean, there's people getting exonerated off death row. So yes, we definitely, as a race of black men, I think I said this once before, we can't get proven innocent. If I'm not mistaken, it should be expected, especially when I think once before we heard that cops automatically fear black men. Somewhere they think we guilty off the top too.
Let me go to Donald. Donald, what's on your heart?
Am I down to talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, down.
Tucson.
Yeah, guilty as charged. We heard Rico. And if he didn't, and excuse the expression, they say only a fool represents himself.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you have to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're already guilty.
Mm-hmm.
They got you picked out. Regardless of who did it, you did it. And we're going to convict you.
Mm-hmm.
And they call each one of us by name.
Exactly.
I'll never forget, they was looking for a black man in a blue car. Guess who was guilty? Me.
Mm.
But can you imagine how many black men drive blue cars?
I bet you won't buy another blue car, will you?
No, sir.
Good deal. Hey, listen, y'all. It's 57. It's time for us to get out. I want to go around and give everybody an opportunity to say what they want to say in their closing. Man, this has been a great broadcast. I want to thank you, each and every one of you. Mary, what you want to say in your closing? Hey, boo boo. That's my grandbaby. Hey, boo boo. How you doing? Good night. Love you. Mary, in your closing.
I love you all and have a good night.
Good deal. Good deal. Grace, in your closing. Grace?
Yes.
Would you like?
I'd like to say thank you for the broadcast. I've enjoyed it. I appreciate participating, and it is so good to hear everybody's view on everything. And I hope we'll have a good discussion next week.
Absolutely.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Rico, in your closing, sir.
I just want everybody to continue being great. It's a privilege to be a part of so many people having great discussions and having soluble solutions. You know, everybody got good solutions and good opinions, man. And it's just great to have that camaraderie going on.
Absolutely. What's going on tomorrow, Rico?
Oh, tomorrow I got my show coming on. It's the Whistle at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. I'll be speaking on AIDS and HIV awareness, clearing up some of the myths and actually discussing some things we need to talk about because we're about to hit a 40-year mark on the explosion of AIDS, and we still got a lot of misconceptions that we shouldn't be having anymore. So y'all tune in and get with me tomorrow, 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Good deal. That's the Whistle. Jamie, in your closing, sir.
I just like to say I caught a part of the program. From what I did catch, it was great information. As Brother Rico stated, it's good to be at the table when there's some intelligent, opinionated conversation going on.
Good deal. Now,
some blessings be unto you all.
Good deal. Now, Rico goes off at 6 o'clock. Jamie, what happens at 6 o'clock tomorrow?
At 6 o'clock tomorrow, you can hear Rise to Prosperity, a show of educating, motivating, inspiring individuals to rise above their situation and circumstances in life.
Good deal. Good deal.
That's from 6 to 7 Wednesdays.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Leonard, in your closing, sir.
It's good to talk to you guys this evening, man. We shared a lot of things. I hope people got something from it. And, you know, since we're talking about the American dream, one of the biggest things and reasons why people want to come here is because they get to choose who governs them.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they will get citizenship just like you and have the right to vote. Trust me, if you don't understand how it works, they will show you how it works.
And I want to go ahead on and make the announcement right now. I'm running for office. I will be. Oh, okay. Almost. Donald Tucson, I almost forgot about you, brother. In your closing.
Good night.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
Okay.
Good deal. Charles, in your closing.
Yeah, I thank you for inviting me. I appreciate everybody, what they share. And we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don Sherrod, in your closing, sir.
Thought-provoking questions and dynamic answers. I enjoyed your brotherhood. Thank you.
Good deal. Good deal. And she, in your closing, sir. What up, though?
What up, though? That's correction. Sherrod.
Oh, Sherrod.
Exactly. You're right.
Wow.
He said, get it
right,
right.
man.
Get it right.
Wow, like that.
Isn't that the tiger's name in Jungle Book?
Huh?
Is
Yeah.
that the tiger's name in Jungle Book?
Sure. Bow wow, not growl.
Uh-oh.
In your
Let 'em
closing
know.
sheet.
Let them know. Don't get it twisted. Let them know, Sherrod.
That's right.
Come on. It's been a great broadcast as usual. Real Man Being Man is a blessing. I want to give a special shout out to my wife and my children and all of the other school-age children who are experiencing something that they have never experienced before during this time. We're 2 weeks in, and my wife is a champion, man.
Have you met?
She's at home working. She's working from home right now, and has to do double duty because she's assisting my first grader. I have 6 children, youngest. The rest of them are self-sufficient, but she needs to assist him, and she's doing a phenomenal job trying to juggle her job along with that while she's at home. And I want to give a shout out to the teachers, man. Because they took this situation, and there's been some hiccups and some rough patches, but man, they're tackling it, and I'm very impressed with the school system. At least Detroit. I don't know how the country, but we need to hold the school system up in prayer and all of the students, because this is unprecedented right here, and we got a lot of challenges that we have to deal with concerning the situation of this online learning thing. Is different, it's new, and I believe if we do what we got to do, we're gonna overcome all the obstacles that come our way, and we're gonna be. Y'all believe in God with me? We're gonna tackle this thing. It's gonna be a success. It's gonna be successful.
Amen.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, we're about to get out of here for tonight. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Radio and Real Men Being Men to be a part of your evening. Now, if you're not busy tomorrow, I want you to join us. We got a lot of. No, not yet, baby. You want to pray us out? Go ahead, Mary. Pray us out. Oof. Oh my God. Maybe I should have said nothing. Pray us out, baby.
Alrighty. Is everyone prepared?
Yes.
Yes. Heavenly Father, we come to you as humbly as we know how. Thank you for the blessings that you've done for us so far. Thank you for the hard times and the good times. And we pray that everyone will remain safe and everyone will remain in the right minds. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Amen. Go ahead. Go ahead, preacher. That's a preacher right there. Listen, it is now 10. Oh man, it's 10:05. You're about to exit on Real Men Being Men. But I want to invite you, if you get an opportunity tomorrow, make sure you join us for the Morning Glow. We had our Way Out Wednesday. What is that, you might ask? Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's so kind of you. That is where you become the boss. Yes, you become the boss. All you have to do is give us a call, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Give us a call, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, and we will talk about it later. It is what?
Imperative.
There you go. My man, right on cue, boy. I tell you, that's my brother right there. Listen, we're about to get out of here for tonight. It's 10:05. You're about to exit the Real Men Being Men. But before you go, I want you to do me 2 favors, if you will. 1, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number 2, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light from Real Men Being Men. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. Love you. And if you get an opportunity to go out there and love someone else, you might just find some love in return. Y'all have a great evening. I'm gonna let y'all watch She for a minute. Go ahead, She.